And then after that, then I headed on. I was going to meet Maria in Olympia, Washington. Well, the Olympic Peninsula actually. We're going to meet for some camping. So I had sort of two camping spots on the way. The first was Outlet Creek, which is by Glenwood, and it's still very green there. It's interesting because you have like Glenwood, which is in this sort of Mount Adams bottom base of this forest, this national forest, the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. The Mount Adams is like this big peak there. And yeah, in Portland even you can see like different peaks all over. There's like these white, so once you get in the Pacific Northwest and you don't really realize it, these super tall like white volcanic peaks that I don't know if we really have anything comparable to that right up where we're from in BC, and not too many of the places I've been traveling I've seen this. But so Gifford Pinchot Forest has this big Mount Adams, which is sort of like the theme of that period between Portland and meeting Maria in the Olympic Peninsula, both spots I stayed. So this spot, Outlet Creek, was pretty awesome, rustic but pretty rad. It was a good spot. Glenwood was this town right close to it that was fairly green, and Goldendale was further down, and that was like desert, so it's kind of this hybrid split between the west of Washington where it's super green and like the east kind of right on that divide there. But the camp was really green, and there's this cool waterfall you could get to. And I did some hiking up top as well. You could really see Mount Adams, and you could also see towards Goldendale, which is very dry, with those windmill halos as well. You can't see them on the film because they were too far away. And I also actually hung out in Glenwood a bit, trying to get Wi-Fi from the general store, and it was a very small town vibe there, like listening to the teenagers, because it's like a one-store town, talking on the balcony of the store while I would do my computing outside the picnic table or whatever. Yeah, it was just interesting. Definitely sort of a different vibe, whatever. Right? So that was Outlet Creek, and I just want to see if I got anything else to say about that one. Yeah, so I guess right now, this Trout Lake, I'm starting to get into like bear country here as we approach Montana, where I'm headed next. And I'm totally terrified of like bears, but particularly grizzly bears, because they don't run away from you, they kind of battle you or whatever apparently. But when I was at Outlet Creek, there was this guy who had all these horses who was camping there, like where I was camping, and the deputy sheriff of, hey, dragonfly, deputy sheriff of Glenwood actually came over to hang out too with this horse guy because he knows him or whatever, right? And the deputy sheriff told me that grizzlies don't or can't climb trees because their claws are so long and curved that they only climb trees when they're babies. So that made me feel a bit better. If I'm ever in an encounter with a grizzly, I'll just, skin my calves and feet and shins and scurry up a tree really fast and hang out for a few days till it goes away. But anyway, so I left Outlet Creek, and my next spot was Council Lake, which was in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest, so up way closer to Mount Adams. And way greener, and there was still like snow there and stuff like that. Like I got some footage of me walking in my sandals on these like snowdrift things or whatever, right? And so that was a cool campsite. The lake was like super blue, like awesomeness. I did like a hike over like this like Taklak Lake where you can have an awesome view of Mount Adams. I think I've got that for you as well. Some different lakes with different views of Mount Adams. Mount Adams is just really the dominant thing. And the one day we went up to this, walked up to this bluff above the Council Lake site, and I was right across from Mount Adams. It was like the most amazing thing ever, but there's kind of clouds in the way. I have a little bit of footage of that. And there's also this almost like framed shot on the walk up where you got the lake and the mountain, although there's clouds in the mountain, but it was awesome as well. Yeah, so the only other thing I guess I got to mention about that is there's this crazy like baby shoe pass, because you're way up in this by Mount Adams, you got to drive over this thing, and it wasn't super tall, but there was like this baby shoe pass, I guess they call it, and people had hung like these baby shoes all over the baby shoe pass sign, which I found kind of, I don't know, strange, but yeah, I guess that's how they do it there in weird Washington. Anyway, that'll be the cut for the clip one, and then I'll come back for another one here.